So we've been sharing all kinds of stuff about the inside of Edgewood. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about the outside.
Yeah, we're super excited. Just a few changes we've made to the outside because there really wasn't much to do, but this was my birthday present. Jason surprised me with this mullion design, so he brought me over here. I actually was working on my birthday, so I think we did it the next day, and surprised me with this design, and I absolutely love it.
So the big decision for us has been, do we paint it green? We've even asked some of you guys on IG and YouTube what you think, but we can't decide.
Yeah, we can't decide if we paint the entire door green, if we paint the entire door white, or if we leave them contrasting of each other. So you guys chime in, leave us a note, and let us know what you think.
So one of the other big changes we made to the outside is there were a set of screen doors. These doors are about 8 foot tall, maybe a little bit taller. We removed the screen doors and we really wanted to bring in that natural light to the inside foyer.
Yeah, and I love when you pull up the meandering driveway now, you can really see the doors, where before you couldn't really see the doors because the screens were dirty and just old, so it's really exciting to pull up and see the doors.
Yeah, so let's go take a look. This is kind of the front porch, nice and wide, but let's walk you around and give you a little tour of the exterior of Edgewood. So we love the front porch and gave you a little bit about it. This is actually the side entry to the home, but will actually be the front where guests will come up this wide staircase. Got a nice little brick paver to welcome guests as they come up the meandering driveway with the big trees. So it's a pretty cool spot for people to come in. But let's get back to the exterior of the house. Is what we wanted to share with you today is what do you think is one thing that has surprised you about the building materials on this house?
How many times that wood siding has been painted? I mean, I would love to know every color it's ever been painted in the 150 years, but it feels like there's like 300 paint layers on there.
Yeah, when you look at the house from the exterior, you might say, oh, it looks great, and it does, but when you get up close, that's when you really see the wrinkles of the house.
Yeah, which is something I struggled with at the beginning. I was like, hey, do you think we could get somebody to like look at just replacing the entire wood siding? And he looked at me like I had 3 heads, and he was like, babe, do you know how much that would cost? And I was like, I know, but I don't know if I can deal with all the layers, because I'm so used to new construction and, you know, having that first layer of coat and paint. And by the time we've moved on to the second one, we've already moved houses. So
yeah, we don't have to repaint very often.
Yeah, so, but now I've come to love and appreciate it. I know it's just part of the history and the charm of the house, but
yeah, it is. It's grown on me, and I shared the same concern with Gretchen when we first started looking at this home. But so yeah, so that, and then what I found out in my research was the porch was not original to the house. I thought it was. It was added by the second owners back in the early 1900s. So I sure am glad they did, because it's huge and massive, and we're still toying with the idea of putting a little railing on the front.
Yeah, just a little decorative detail, just to add a little bit more charm, kind of put our stamp on the house.
So we're thinking about that. And then one thing that has caught my attention is the quality of materials that was used when this house was built and renovated over the years. Is they've really gone with just pure, good building materials. Like the gutters on this home are copper, but they're not your normal gutters. So when you look up at the facade of the house, you know, at first it startled me. I was like, there's no gutters on the house.
Yeah.
But
how could that be with all these trees and leaves?
That's right. So they're actually gutters, and they're built into the cornice, or they're built into the roof system. So when it rains, the water flows down the roof and drops into the gutter. And then you'll see there's a couple downspouts that you do notice throughout the house that are copper that bring that water down. So pretty cool little touch and tidbit. I've seen them in books, but I've never done a house with built-in gutters, so it's cool to have a house with built-in gutters. So, and then the shutters, I've got my Charleston green on today, or my Edgewood green today.
Yes.
As we've done a little bit of work, we got to rehab some of the shutters. A lot of them are made out of, some are mahogany, just really good quality wood, and then
Not MDF?
Not MDF like we make them today, or exterior material, but the hardware is authentic and still original. So they open and close, and they have got some cool tiebacks. We'll show you some up close details of that. But I think it really helps give Edgewood the character that drew us in.
Yeah, and you have to remember, at some point in time, this was a summer home for people to come to and visit and bring their families. So I'm sure, you know, when this home was not being used in the wintertime, I have a feeling those shutters were closed, the windows were closed, and they really closed up shop for the season.
Yeah, and headed into the city.
Yeah, and lived in the city.
Well, let's walk around back. I want to show you guys. So this is the main part of the house we're looking at, but there's been a few additions over the years, and let's share those with you. So as you walk around the side of the house, you get towards the back, you can really start to see where some of the transformations or really alterations have been made, good or bad, over the years. So there's two couple additions, and we'll kind of walk you through some of those. So as you can see, the flat part of the house facing towards the back is the original house. It still has the corbels with the built-in gutter, but as you see, this was an addition over the years that just kind of sticks out. You've got two windows with one shutter and one shutter up, which is not historically accurate. You should usually always have two shutters that would close in, but regardless, it is what it is. We're not changing that. You can kind of see there's a little built-in milk delivery that was at some point the back of the house next to the back door. And then this lower portion of the house here was added, we think about a little over 20 years ago. So they put a breezeway connector, added a 3-car garage. There's a little flat roof up there. On some of the plans, there was actually a carriage house designed for over the garage. Don't think we'll do that, but it's kind of cool to see the transition over the years. And they've got some exposed gutters back here, and they carried the nice shutters and good proportion windows back in the back addition. So the back of the house has a 3-car garage. They've put a cool little brick inlay across the back. We've got a little kind of potting shed storage area here with the single door. And I'm excited to have a garage, although it's built a while ago. The doors are a little bit narrow, it's not as deep, so a little questionable for my truck, but...
Yeah, that was one of the first things I said when we were putting an offer on the house. I said, before we offer anything, you need to make sure your truck fits in this garage.
So it does fit, but it takes me like 10 minutes.
No, you've gotten pretty good at it.
I can wrap up my phone calls as I'm pulling in.
Yes.
So let's check out the side here, one of our favorite parts of the house. I wanted to show you the side of the garage. Is one of the coolest parts of the house here. We've got some built-in lattice work, got some pretty peonies, some hydrangeas, so eventually Gretchen and her green thumb will have this baby looking good.
Yeah, so I'm hoping to do some more climbing roses and really just clean this area up. It's just been overgrown the past couple of years, but I think with just a little bit of elbow grease, I think she'll be pretty and looking good again.
And it gets some good shade. I think we did our Q&A under this big tree the other day, and I've been told it's a white oak tree. So if anybody knows for sure, let me know. But I had a pretty reliable source saying white oak tree. So we're going to really try to take advantage of this tree and make some cool... All right, so we're in the back, right off the screen porch that leads into the kitchen where we added those new windows and doors.
Yes.
So probably going to spend a lot of time back here.
Yeah, I think this is a big selling feature of the home for us. It's just coming from the house we are in now that really we have no yard space. We have a pool, which we love. We have tons of green space in the neighborhood, which is awesome, but I am really looking forward to just walking outside and seeing trees and grass and having a garden and rose bushes.
So are we going to have a pool here?
So we're thinking a pool. The boys are voting yes. I definitely would like some kind of tranquil water feature out here. It is hot, as you can see, in Kentucky in August. So a pool would be a great thing to have in the summertime.
I know Noah and I were out looking on the side lot. There's a cool little old garden, and it's got some some old brick. I say reclaim. We're going to reclaim them and maybe put them at the back of the water feature eventually. So there's this huge expansive area here. We're not going to entertain 50 people probably, so we may cut into this a little bit, and if the water feature does go, it would go right here, and we would clean up this landscaping just a bit. But guys, come up a little bit closer. I want to show you some of the details that make up Edgewood. And Gretchen can be our Vanna White and show off the siding.
Yeah, as you can see, this is what I was talking and referencing earlier, is the layers of paint. So most of the time it appears that the painters would just literally just paint over. When it was time to repaint the house, they wouldn't sand it down, they just coat it over. So I'm super curious as to what the first layers of this house were and how many different colors it's been. And then also here is the shutter detail, which Jason referenced, and how it has the original hardware, which is really cool. And then we have our favorite green color, Charleston green.
So, and you can see this was an addition to the house. This used to have a shutter that would fold back onto the house. That's been removed, and this addition has been done. And if you look at the stonework here at the foundation, you can see this is the original stonework right here. This is an addition, which actually I love the profile of this stone in the raised mortar joint. This is a manufactured stone. You can tell it's all right, but it is what it is. It's under the porch. So 1, 2, 3 stones. But hold on, there's more. There's more. We got a fourth. Do we get a fourth? Over here, under the staircase here, is a 4th stone. So right here in this one area, 4 different stones, but they all kind of flow. We'll probably leave them, and that's what makes this house
Interesting and part of the history, and why we will keep it, because
have some character.
Yeah.
Let's pop up on the porch. I want to show you all the impact of the windows and doors that we added up here. So we're up on the covered screen porch. They had a huge rug over this, so we pulled it up. The concrete's actually in really good shape.
Yes.
Can't say the same about the fans. They've yellowed a little bit, but we'll probably replace those. But here's the doors. And originally we wanted to do transoms so we could get extra light. There weren't any other transoms in here, so that didn't make sense. So we went with a 9-foot door. So these doors are extra tall, 12 foot wide. And then when we want to, we can open up these guys. Give you about a 6-foot opening to really connect the breakfast area, dining room, into the outside. And then as you come down here, as much as I love the doors, I think the windows are probably the statement maker of the whole kitchen. And I didn't do them all that open. We just did 3 to open. I figured we wouldn't have them all open at the time, but crank those bad boys open.
say, honey, hand me those Brussels sprouts.
That's right.
Easy access.
Have some of Gretchen's famous Brussels sprouts out here on the porch, watching the boys. Hopefully somebody's in the pool and enjoying those summer days after the Edgewood reno is done. All right, if you guys aren't dizzy from the 360 tour of Edgewood, hope you've enjoyed it. This is the last side, this side elevation where Gretchen and I, our offices are behind us. That's where the chimneys are. A while back we were digging in there, still trying to decide if we're gonna go exposed brick or not. But anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed the tour of the exterior of Edgewood.
Yes, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Building a Better South, and you can find Jason on Instagram at Artisan Signature Homes, and you can find me at Gretchen Black. And thanks again, and be sure to subscribe.